Solid point. Now, if you're good for it, we're going to switch over to the
Yeah.
new Ford Explorer. You've got a fantastic video on it. So, folks, if you're watching this as a cut-up episode, welcome to episode 2, new Ford Explorer, new prices, and what is the best model. So let's cover that right here, right now. We've got Dave from All Terrain Nation with us, fantastic auto journalist, second person to ever be on the channel here, because, well, I only let the best come on to the show. So, Dave, thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to be talking about the Ford Explorer. You've got an episode out. Now, do catch Dave's, if you're interested in the Ford Ranger, go over to All Terrain Nation, check out Dave's channel. He's got great Explorer videos, but he has lots of Ranger videos because he's been covering it from, I'd say even before day one, because he was covering even the rumors. And Dave's really good at getting inside information, kind of like me over here because I'm working at Ford. But many times I've seen Dave get information before me. He just covered the Ford Explorer, and we've got, it's not, I wouldn't say it's all new. It's touched up.
Mild refresh.
What do you think about this mild refresh? How are you finding the styling?
I'm happy the kind of the side profile of it didn't really change much because I think it was a really good looking vehicle from the get-go.
Yeah.
The little bit larger grille, I don't know how I feel exactly about that yet, but I think overall they've done a home run with it. The taillights and stuff, all the little mild things they've done look great. The new infotainment system, what are they calling it? I forget what they call it. It's not really going to be sync anymore. What they're doing, they have a new name for it. But the
That's
ability
right.
they've really captured the soul of the younger generation who are buying vehicles now. Your millennials, your Gen Z, I guess it is, because they're adapting video games into these things now, and the way they partner with Google to do that, and you've got that, what is it, like a 13.2-inch screen in that vehicle, I believe. So they're really Ford's kind of smart about it. I think they've seen what Tesla was sort of doing with the Model Y of how you could a lot of connections to your daily life in that vehicle, and Ford's kind of capturing that. I think the model for me though, out of all of them, is the ST. I always tell people on my channel I want the most horsepower possible, just because I'm an old school, want to go fast person, and that thing at 400 horsepower, being a rear wheel drive vehicle still, that there's a lot of Mustang vibes to me about that vehicle, John. It may not, the V6 in that may not rumble like the Mustang, but when you smash that pedal, I think it's going to bring a lot of smiles to people's faces. The interior of it is nice. Of course, being a 3-row, can you imagine well, I'm a lot older than you, John, but when I was a kid, I cannot imagine, like, my dad wanted a Grand National, the Buick Grand National so bad, and he could not convince my mom that we could make it a family car because I had 2 other siblings, so 3 people in the back of that, plus up front, being a 5-seater, it just wasn't gonna be feasible, so my mom made my dad buy a 4-cylinder, a little more, a wise decision, but to have the ability to have a high horsepower family cruiser right now, Ford has hit a home run with this because I look at what Kia is doing, and they're having some fun, but I don't see anybody really bringing a rear wheel drive vehicle like this that either you can get it with the 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive system, or if you wanna take it to the track, because I'm seeing people taking these things and tuning them and having a lot of fun. I'm seeing them beat Corvettes on the track, and that's ridiculous to me, and the idea that I can get for what I think I priced mine out at right at 59,000 to have such a family cruiser that I said it in my video, I can go to Walmart, go to the drag strip, take my winning trophy at the drag strip back to the grocery store to pick up my groceries, and then go home. That's a heck of a night to me, and I think Ford's done a great job with this vehicle.
I think Ford's smart in publicizing and putting the spotlight on the ST
Mhm.
because for all the reasons you mentioned, and it's also just hands down gorgeous. This thing
Mhm.
doesn't look like your soccer mom's vehicle. It doesn't
Mm-mm.
look like a van. This thing is beautiful. And you said it well. Explorers have sold very well. It's a success story for Ford. They had already nailed down the style. So
Mhm.
you don't want to go in the complete opposite direction. You just want to tweak the recipe. Just like, when your mom hands down the family recipe for chili, you can tweak it, but you
Mhm.
definitely don't try to change it. So yeah, there's not. I think when I see this vehicle, I'm not thinking like, what is that? We know right off it's a Ford Explorer. I do like that the grill is a little bigger. I don't think they did a whole BMW of this. They didn't put
Yeah.
an atrocious grill that completely ruins the brand and then decide to
Mhm.
basically slap it on everything like it's, bacon. That grill is the opposite of bacon. It's broccoli, and they've decided to throw broccoli on almost every single model. So
Yeah.
I think this is, I'd say the fact that you're not sure if you like it less or more than the current model is perfect. That's sort of like it just means it's been tweaked and you're wondering, you know what, I'm gonna have to taste them both. So people might end up having a used one and a new one in the yard. I think that this is a fantastic vehicle. Love 3-liter V6 twin turbo. But as a family vehicle, and not my personal vehicle, I have to disagree with you. Personally, I think the ST is amazing. If it's going to be your main vehicle, spend the extra money, get the ST. I was blown away. I did a video test driving and reviewing the Timberline, which
Mhm.
has the 2.3-liter in it. And I thought my conclusion in that video was going to be great looking vehicle, incredible exterior, incredible interior, but they not enough wow from the engine. But surprisingly, I wasn't disappointed with the engine, and actually, in stepping on it, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty impressive. And as a standard engine, incredibly impressive. I grew up. My mom didn't have any say when it came back in the day when it came to the family vehicle. So my father had a Camaro SS. I believe it was a 74 or 72 Camaro SS as the family
Oh,
vehicle.
wow.
And I'm
Nice.
pretty sure a 2.3 Explorer would squash that vehicle.
100%.
Yeah, because what was it like? You had about a low 6 second off a
Yeah.
69 Shelby GT 500, and that was in the low 6 seconds. Which now the six cylinder, well, when they had a cylinder Mustang a few years ago, it was on paper faster than a stock Shelby Cobra GT 500 from 1969, despite its incredible horsepower rating. So the 2.3 liter is a good engine because for me it would be a secondary vehicle. I definitely get the ST line. I want the looks of the ST, but I
Mhm.
could live with having one slower engine in the family.
Well, can you tell me a little bit what makes, because I don't track Explorer a ton. What is the big difference between ST line and the ST?
Fantastic question. It's all under the hood. You won't be able to go win trophies at the track, but you'll look great at the Walmart because it's essentially pretty much all the looks of the ST without the engine.
Okay.
So instead of having that 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque, it's about roughly about 315 horsepower and
Mhm.
low three. I think it's 330 pound-feet of torque. So it's the Ford Ranger standard engine.
Yeah.
It's a good engine. Now, would I pull 1,000 pounds with it? It can. They all come standard with a hitch now. They all come
Mhm.
standard with the Ford Copilot 360 Assist, which is fantastic. So if you don't know what that is, you can always check the Ford order guide for information. You can look up Ford Explorer 2025 Ford order guide. It's out, or go into a dealership. They can print it off for you. So the ST line has that look. Now, how they're breaking it up, they're going to have an active model at 39,625, the ST line at 44,385. So the ST line, you're getting there. The active was up on screen. So let's go back to that. Here's your $39,000 option. So you've got a little bit of either chrome or brushed metal look in the grill. You've got active shutters, meaning your front grill opens and closes for either cooling off the engine or better fuel economy. Because when it's closed, there's fuel economy benefits to that.
Mhm.
And then you've got the ST line. Now, the ST line we can see right off looks a little different than the ST, but previously, for your 2023s and for what will be 2024 ST lines, you can pay for an upgraded appearance package. So currently, you can get it to look just like the fully decked out, pretty much just like the fully decked out ST. So we'll have to see. And then, of course, and I'm going to check that out. You've got the Platinum. The ST is 55,205. That is a good $10,900 more than the ST line. And you've got the Platinum sitting at 51,525. I think the sweet spot, if it's, if you're not horsepower crazy, or if it's your second vehicle and you find your 2.7 liter Bronco to be very fast. So you've got your ST line. All these vehicles are going to come standard with the 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine, except for the ST and Platinum that have the 3-liter turbo.
Mm-hmm.
So off your active, though, you still get the 5G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot. You got available active comfort package. They all have keyless entry. They all have push button. They will all have remote start. They're all going to have first row heated seats, and they're all going to have adaptive cruise control with stop and go and lane centering, because they all have that as standard. Ford Copilot 360 Assist 2.0, and then interior. You mentioned how the interior is very impressive. They're all going to have that, as you mentioned, the 13.2-inch touchscreen in the center, and also behind the steering wheel. They're all going to have that non-touchscreen but digital gauges. So very sharp looking. Now the ST line, if I actually want to build and price that, I just click on it. And if we check out the ST line, I'm very curious to see if we can actually get it to look just like. I wouldn't take it black because I can't handle having, you mentioned it in your video today. I enjoyed watching. You said black is a lot of maintenance, and you make one little mistake washing it, you've got little lines all over it.
Oh, yeah.
In Canada, we will not have rear-wheel drive, but it does remind us in the States we can. So there's an added charge to go four-wheel drive. And once again, if you're going to be, putting a boat in the water, I find $2,995 to go intelligent all-wheel drive is fantastic. Meaning on a nice, beautiful day when you're not heavy on the pedal, it's going to be rear wheel only, going through corners. If you're on slippery surfaces, those rear wheels is going to be predominantly rear wheel drive, which can help you rear wheel steer through a corner so much better than when you're predominantly front wheel drive. You might end up with a little bit of straightforward slip. But we see the ST line here when we put it four-wheel drive right off. We've got that ST look. So that's actually a caveat. Don't be fooled. I'd say get all-wheel drive because it's not only $2,995, but we see those mags change right there, and you're essentially running yourself an ST, at least in
Yeah,
appearance. That's an ST minus the engine.
sure. Yeah, looks great.
I almost have you convinced. Is that possible?
No, I when I do my like the videos that I do, especially my first look at these vehicles, I tend to go to the probably the most expensive version. Probably because there's more not clickbait to it, but there's more excitement to that. But
Yeah.
it's like
That's what
it's
more
like
people want to find out about.
oh, well, I used to do vintage guitar sales when I was a kid, and we always had $10,000 guitars up high. It would bring customers in, but guess what? When they left, they were with a $250 guitar when they walked out because that's where their budget was. So my
Smart.
approach is usually we'll and I'll do a video down the road of looking to lower trim. But no, I can agree with you. I probably the seats in it are honestly I think they're cloth seats still, right? So the
They
new
will be, yeah.
yeah, the new Ford cloth seats that they're doing, we saw with, Maverick or with, yeah, I think Maverick and Bronco. I dig the cloth seats a lot. They're not that old, boring looking stuff from the '80s and '90s. They still bring a lot of excitement with it, so the interior of this thing's gonna rock. Um, I love that across the board, 5,000 pounds towing across the board. I think that is a good sweet spot. I think we're
Standard hitch.
yeah, I think a lot of even with, like, full-size trucks, 12, 13, 14,000 pounds now is ridiculous. I think 5,000 pounds for a daily, "I need to tow the boat," or "We're gonna tow a small camper," and stuff. I think this is the perfect vehicle for that. Look at the interior of that thing. Looks great.
Incredible. Yeah, so this is the ST line. So the ST, the main difference on an ST is that the center inserts that help hold you in position when you're cornering quickly. That's why it's not leather. Leather, you slide, or vinyl, you slide easily,
Mhm.
even if you've got those bolstered sides, these do look like very sporty seats because of those bolstered side means sides that stick out to hold you in place. But the center inserts are cloth on the ST line, whereas on the ST it would be Miko suede. So there's the big
Oh,
difference.
nice.
And the ST, I love the photos you shared on the ST. They've got the sort of embroidered or colored ST in the
Mhm.
shoulder rest area. And you're talking about that screen. I'm impressed by this standard 13.2-inch screen. I think that's a pretty big deal.
Yes, 100%, man. I mean, obviously, everybody wants a big screen nowadays, but the fact that it still feels like it belongs in the vehicle, that's a good design right there. And, John, for me, and I said it in my video today, the thing that they've really done is the way the tray is for to hold your phone and stuff, the way they've made that more accessible, that center under the volume button there. Like, to be able to have small storage like that, that a lot of times they were putting HVAC controls right there, and then your phone was kind of an afterthought to shove it under the dash. It would slide around. I like how Ford's really adapted and making that area usable, that the passenger across from you can get to it, the driver, anything you need to put there. Maybe you put your wallet there or whatever, however you like to drive. I like
2
that a
phones
lot. And
won't
for some
bang together.
yeah, it really for some reason, I don't know what it is about this vehicle, but that when I was looking it over, that was a design feature that I thought, home run for Ford.
Yep, and they pushed back. In your episode, I think you made this point, there's a little divider in the
Mhm,
center console. So you could have
mhm.
2 phones, and they're not if you corner quickly, 'cause, it's a sporty very sporty looking design
Yeah,
and very powerful engines. Those phones aren't gonna crash together, so that's great. You've got actually the dash has been pushed further, towards the windshield to give owners more space. So it's a more
mhm.
spacious interior. So whereas this isn't we can't call it a completely new, completely redesigned model because it's still running on that frame, a real frame, not unibody, but a frame that it's the same as it was for the current model. But I feel, other than the fact that they haven't changed the body of this, to me, this pretty much is pretty almost all completely all new vehicle. I find the changes are fantastic. They're relatively dramatic without going so far as to say, you know what, they changed it too much. This new chili sauce gives me heartburn.
Right, and to your point was if you've got something and this is a good volume seller for Ford, this is good bread and butter. They make a lot of money with this vehicle, so you don't wanna see your client base too base, and Ford, generally, their designs in general, they don't ever go too far. You always look at the F-150s, they're always generational changes, they're not just drastic changes to do something different. So they know the client base of this, and they know, hey, they may have a 5-year-old one, and they love that vehicle, but they just want a couple, let's update the tech a little bit. So I think for Ford, it's a home run, and the fact that it's not real gadgety. The only bummer that anything Ford's doing right now is that kind of ruins me is the lack of buttons for your HVAC controls and stuff like that. I've had a struggle with that with my '24 Mustang that we have. It's been hard to adapt to push the screen on that, but, that would be my only nitpick to this vehicle right now. I think Ford has a home run on their hands with it.
Yeah, I feel it a home run as well. And I love the fact that the interior, we think about I'm thinking right now, Hyundai Santa Cruz. And that
Mhm.
thing, the interior looks amazing in a showroom if you're the first person to check it out. But if you're the second person to check it out, it's got fingerprints everywhere. And as good as gloss black looks good in marketing and publicity photos, gloss black looks the best. In
Yep.
reality, in real life, it is total hot garbage. It is the most because it doesn't end up being black. It ends up being greasy finger stains. And I never eat in my vehicles, and still, I fingerprints everywhere. I test drove the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and just after a test drive of trying the different buttons at the end, I was like, "This drives me crazy." And give me a
My
rag and some spray.
my number one complaint about the Chevy Colorado and new Canyon, GMC Canyon, is the center console is all gloss like that, and it chips up easy. It doesn't they need to build these vehicles to withstand a little bit of wear and tear. And yes, like you said, it's a nightmare if you're just ultra sensitive about keeping your vehicle clean. Yeah, gloss back looks great for PR, and I'll be at the Chicago Auto Show this week, and I'll see a lot of glass black, and I guarantee you I'll go to film something in it, and there'll be fingerprints everywhere.
So, folks, if you want to catch an incredible building price, check out All Terrain Nation. Dave's not just a good guy, he's also an excellent journalist. And I think being a good guy actually helps make him a great journalist. So, you'll see a lot of interior shots of the ST Explorer. It is gorgeous. I'd put my money on if I was buying this vehicle, I'd go ST line all wheel drive because, well, you get the look of the ST and you're getting the interior, which is either half leather or what appears to be leather with
Mhm.
cloth inserts to help keep you in your seat. I think the 2.3 liter is incredible. Well, incredible. It's incredible as a standard engine. I would never pay extra to have a 2.3 liter unless it shows up in the Ford Maverick. So catch Dave's video. He'll cover that ST in weeks to come. We might talk more about the Explorer, so please do like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any important auto news and information. Now, if you don't mind, do you still have time to stick to talk about the Ford Maverick?
Of course, man.